You train hard, you eat clean, you track your macros, and still something's off. It's not your diet, it's not your genetics. It's that thing everyone says is fine in moderation, but it's effing with your gut, your sleep, your hormones, your head. Yeah, we need to talk about alcohol. Alright, so it's Wednesday, it's spring, and we're doing some fasted morning cardio with some black coffee, trying to come up with some brainstorming ideas, different things, and usually this is where I take my time to research something like color grading in Da Vinci to get better at something, or just read. But this morning I was in thought. I said to myself, you're going to start your video log today, even though you were supposed to start it on Monday. But see, that's what brings me to the story. Monday I could not start a vlog because Friday I made a mistake. I started Friday off getting a good morning workout in, fasted morning workout. To make colleagues, we're going to have some lunch and a few beers. For the longest time, I've always stayed busy, had something else to do, or I'd show up and leave pretty quick, but never really have I sat down and just, really partaken in beverages during the middle of a Friday. But this time, lo and behold, after I ate and got a little bit of a buzz, I decided, why not? Irish car bomb was involved, Boilermaker was involved. Next thing you know, 5 hours sitting outside on the deck of a ale house. I could feel it, but I don't think it really taken hold in my mind how much I drank until I got it to leave. At that point, I had to go walk across the street and do some shopping, which ended up in me spending too much money and having to get picked up to get home. That night, I decided to eat $70-something worth of Taco Bell for a family of 3, and somehow still managed to eat 3 more packs of ramen noodles by myself. I went to take the trash out later that evening and ended up fracturing my tailbone and hurting my hand. Woke up the next day with my stomach gurgling and hurting, and I think we've all been there. But didn't really occur to me about my gluten allergy until the next day and the next day after. What really happens when we drink? That was the question that I started wondering, because as I want to start getting back into my fitness, this is something that really slowed me down. In fact, I've been wondering to myself, how is it that you were so off balance? How is it that you were so sick for so many days, so tired, made so many bad choices, and how much muscle did you lose? See, I was on a cut. What was supposed to be a short maintenance phase ended up turning into a little bit of a dirty bulk, or worse. And since I still haven't, until today, really felt that normal. So today I decided to record, talk about it. And I've been doing my own research, but I'm going to take you guys along with me on all the things that alcohol does to your body when it comes to fitness and things that you should watch out for. So what's really the big deal? We all know that alcohol ruins inhibitions, hence the $70-something worth of Taco Bell. But what else? What's going on? So let's not forget, alcohol is a poison, so it isn't supposed to be in your body. It has no nutritional values. It has excess calories. It's all going to be carbs and sugar, and none of that stuff is good. Not for fitness anyway. But furthermore, it leads to dehydration, which is not good. And worst of all, I think one of the things that really messed up my next couple of days was just that poison will mess with your gut biome. But those little microorganisms in your stomach have everything to do with your immune system all the way to how you digest your food. See, when your gut biome is off, your cravings are off, your hormones are off, pretty much everything is out of whack, even your immune system. But then when I started to recover, I started thinking, all right, we've got to fix this. We got to fix this quick. I started taking enzymes with my food. Since you get depleted on so many nutritional things, I started taking a multivitamin again and B vitamins. Temporarily backed off on creatines to try to get rehydrated over the next couple of days. And I started taking apple cider vinegar and other stuff to help digest the proteins better, which is not ever a bad idea, but definitely when you're trying to recover from too much drinking, these are necessary things. Aggravatingly enough, I just walked around talking to the camera for the last 30 minutes on a trail and had my mic turned off. I was having some thoughts of some of the research that I was doing, and I was just thinking about how tired I've been, and that's because alcohol, it doesn't actually help you sleep, it sedates you, which there is a difference. You get in your REM sleep, that's when your body heals and your muscles build, and that recovery time is cut short when you drink alcohol. And then you wake up with no energy, and you're groggy even after 8 hours of sleep like I had. Your recovery slows down, inflammation rises, and hormones get scrambled. The worst part, so if you miss your REM, you miss your gains. I mentioned earlier a little bit about your hormones getting affected, and your hormones do go into like a free fall. Every drink that you have chips away at your hormonal balance. I'm talking that your testosterone drops after one night of drinking. Growth hormone, it's suppressed, and growth hormone slows down your fat loss and it increases your muscle repair. So you don't want that. Your cortisol spikes, and so Here comes your belly fat. That's your stress hormone. You start storing, around your waist, and you get that fat tire look. And estrogen, especially in men, it shoots up through the roof. So now you're holding water. You have low energy and, of course, mood swings. Yeah, you think you're pushing for PRs when you're drinking and trying to outdrink everybody at the table, but really your chemistry is just pulling you backwards. And that brings me to the next part. Dehydration. Dehydration kills performance. Alcohol is a diuretic, which means goodbye dehydration. And dehydration isn't just about thirst, it's all about performance. Less water equals thicker blood equals slower oxygen delivery. See, when you're dehydrated, you have less coordination. Hence why I slipped and fractured my dang tailbone trying to throw away some dang trash. It also gives you more cramping and a higher injury risk just in general. Your muscles literally feel heavier when you've been dehydrated. See, I used to think I was just tired, but no, I was running dry. You gotta stay hydrated. You know that thing when you drink too much and you wake up the next morning or even late that night with cravings and you're starving? Yeah, well, you're not crazy. That's actually because you've just spiked your ghrelin levels. Ghrelin is what causes you to be hungry. And not only have you done that, you also crash your leptin, which is a hormone that stops you from eating. You've got your blood sugar all kinds of out of whack, which means you're going to crave fatty and sugary things, not protein, which is good for working out. And whenever you're tired and dehydrated, your judgment is way off. So the thing that's in your future is something like what happened to me. 3 packs of ramen noodles, $70-something worth of Taco Bell. The drink doesn't just sabotage your night. It hijacks your whole next day's. But the thing nobody really warns you about is the social pressure. Here's the hardest part of cutting alcohol. It's actually not the cravings. It's the people. The first time I said no, really the first few times, just because I was on a cut, didn't really want to drink, and I didn't really know anybody. I thought I'd get more support for trying to cut and everything than I did, but some friends will act like you're betraying the group if you don't, and it doesn't really matter what it is that you're focused on. But why is that though? And it's because we're wired to get along. And when you stop drinking, you're no longer playing by the group's rules. You hold up a mirror, one that says, I'm changing, or I'm different, and maybe you should be too, or maybe you should too. And you know that's uncomfortable. So a lot of people will push you to drink. Not to hurt you, but just to quiet their own discomforts. And it's understandable. But that's why we have to come up with rules to stay strong. If you're really wanting to get in shape, alcohol drinking cannot help you get there. There's very, very, very little that it can do. And if you have a strong goal in mind, it's best to cut it out altogether. I haven't met any of my heroes, which is probably good, they say not to. But I have a hard time imagining myself running into Lee Priest or Arnold or any of these guys and asking them how they got to where they were, and then mentioning the weekly, bi-weekly, or even monthly get-togethers where they tank themselves with alcohol. Here's what can help you out and help you stand your ground. You gotta learn to expect that kind of pressure. It's not a personal thing, it's about someone else's reflection, their own self-reflection. So have your response ready. I'm training, I'm taking a break from this, I'm fasting. Just remember why. Your energy, your recovery, your mental clarity, your peace. And find an ally or other friends that support that kind of growth. If you're already out with people, just hold a drink in your hand, even if it's just soda and lime. It helps socially. And if the pressure continues, leave. Just keep your power and keep your game. See, the thing is, cutting alcohol, it's not about loss. It's about reclaiming your clarity, your mornings, and your edge. It's about realizing the true strength sometimes looks like saying no when everyone else is saying yes. And you don't need to drink to be social. You don't need permission to evolve and train and better yourself. You just need to remember who you're becoming and use that strength to keep on going and motivate yourself. If this helped you at all, please like and subscribe. Thanks.